It's so much fun. It's also for the Children's Tumor Foundation, and it's all over the world. And it's a fun thing for people just to run in underwear. And
Yeah,
age,
exactly.
men and women, in
Yeah.
all ages, all races, and it's just a fun, positive day.
Hey, just for hold up for a second, Taryn, are you there? Are we on the air? What do we need to do? Are we? I see Taryn's little picture.
Yeah, I see his icon.
I don't know. I don't know if that means Taryn is there or his icon joined us. And Taryn, by the way, we're all in our underwear, so you feel free to do the same.
Yeah. Am I showing up on there too? I just see a little tiny icon for me, so I thought I'd double check with you.
You got a white shirt.
We see you. You got a white shirt.
And your hairstyle. Yeah.
Okay, good. No, I was referencing that I should have worn my underwear today.
Yeah, right.
Since y'all are in your underwear today, I could have worn my underwear today.
So Terrence says he's recording now. So let's go ahead and make sure we're all kind of on the same page. So Todd, just to kind of get us all synced up here, make sure we're all together. Todd and I did the Cupid's Undie. It's called the Cupid Undies Run. That's the name of it, and it's the fundraiser they do every year for neurofibromatosis, which is what Todd has, right? You know, we've talked about that before. NF, as it's called. And do you remember us talking about that before? Does it ring a bell or anything?
Oh, absolutely. We've talked about this each year, and you talked about it last time on the last show because, you know, you were trying to prep us for the fact that it was going to happen.
Right.
Okay. I thought we did. I couldn't remember. You know, my age, you know.
Oh, please. You're talking to the choir.
But and so then we had it this year, and it was when was it, Todd? Was it on the 12th?
It was an Eventide Brewing Company in Grant Park.
Right.
And they even it was a brewery there, and they even had free samples of this beer they brewed for the Cupid Undie.
Yeah,
run.
they had So it was February 11th, which turns out was a little bit of a cold day.
Right.
You know, so which made the Undies Run a little bit more interesting.
Right.
So it was us, Todd. So it was Eventide Brewing. Did you like the place?
I did. It was very fun. And they had a live music, a band in the back.
Oh yeah.
And several of the beers, and it was just fun. And Fox 5 covered it, and it was just a fun time.
Did you ever been to Eventide Brewing? Have you ever heard of it or anything?
No. And you know, I'm sort of the wrong person to ask because I cannot drink alcohol because of medications. So I haven't had a drink of anything, believe it or not, in almost 25 years. So
good for you.
So I'm just, you know, unfortunately, because there are times when I would like to sit down and taste stuff, but it's something I really can't do.
Right. Well, you don't have to drink. I mean, you know, they basically, I think there's some other people that are not drinking but it's a really cool place just to go hang out. They have a great band. It's got warehousey kind of feel to it. Right there in Grant Park.
I don't be around it at all. I'm happy to be around it. It's not a problem at all. You know, once you stop and you know you need to stop, you get to the point where unless it's like a nice glass of champagne or it looks like a really great bottle of wine, and then I kind of go, and everybody's getting loose.
Right.
You know, you're like, wow, I wish.
I thought that was so good. You haven't drank in 25 years. I don't drink during the week, only on weekends, and I thought that was really good. But you know, I try not to drink during the week. I should say, you know, occasions.
Yeah, I understand totally. And you know, mine's because for medicinal reasons, I just can't because of the way it, you know, works with my medication. But you know, there are many people where it's from AA and they really cannot drink because their bodies, it really does something that they can't let it do. And that's a whole different story than mine.
But I will tell you, if you're going to run around in public in your underwear, drinking helps.
Of course it does.
It was early in the morning, like 10 in the morning, so early for me.
Yeah. And you know what? You have to stand up again in case Taryn wasn't taping when you got up before. So
Oh
see,
yeah, Todd. Yeah, Todd, stand up. Show Todd. So
Yeah.
Todd's got his special Cupid. I'm going to turn the camera down here. Can you see
There
it, Diane?
it is.
I've got my Cupid undies
You've got
shirt
your
on.
T-shirt,
Yeah, I don't know if you can read it. It might be backward, but it says peace, love, and undies kind
Yeah.
of thing.
But
You know,
it was fun, and you saw
I've also got boxers. On
women and
just I don't Todd. You know,
everybody
so-
wearing red, women wearing bras and stuff, and just it was
Sure.
just a fun time.
So-
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll add pictures later.
So what happened was the several news outlets were there, right? And
Right.
Crash Clark, the traffic guy on Channel 11 WXIA. Have you ever heard of him?
11 Alive.
11 Alive.
I'm sure I've seen him, you
Yeah.
know.
He's a big kind of jolly fellow, really. He always comes every year to
Yeah,
this. I don't know
yeah.
what his connection is to it,
Right.
but he was there, and he always adds a lot of fun and character. But then what happened was the director, the guy who was the director, we'd met him and just was talking to him. And actually, you know, Todd, there were only actually a few people there with NF. Todd was one of the few people that actually had. And if there was another girl, you
Yeah,
talked
another
to,
young
right?
woman. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they asked him if he wanted to do an interview for TV, but they were interviewing quite a few people, like the lady who raised the most money. We'll talk about that in a second.
Right.
But they interviewed Todd for a little TV spot, and he was the only one who made the cut. He was the only one. They used his little segment.
Oh,
Yeah, so-
awesome.
So if I think we got it posted on our Facebook page.
We
right?
do. Well, I think Taryn's going to add it on later, but I didn't know what to say. I
He
mean,
did good. He did very. You know what? I told him. I said I think being on YouTube might have helped a little bit. He slipped into
it
his.
does. I was in my
persona.
YouTube thing, and they had me hold the microphone way down here. I thought, you know, but the cameraman was asking me the questions.
Right. Yeah. He was just like on camera by
And
himself.
then Crash Clark walks by and goes, "I can't wearing this coat." And Rick goes, "What does he mean by that?" I go, "Oh, that was Fox 5 taping it."
Yeah, he's on 11. But so we found out there were several networks there, kind of. And so
So-
they
That's
used Todd.
great. Yeah.
11.
Great.
Yeah. So Crash Clark took our picture, and Fox 5 put me on there.
So what we this Cupid Undies run has become international. You know, they have it in cities all over
The world.
America. They had I think they said they had one in Australia this year. The
Mhm.
ones in DC and apparently Colorado are really big. This one was a lot bigger. Last year was the first one after the pandemic.
Right.
So it was a little light, and it was here in Buckhead. This year they moved to this new venue in Grant Park, Eventide, and then they had probably about twice as many people. But what we didn't know,
Right.
what we found out was this whole Cupid thing started in Atlanta. You know, it actually started here. We didn't know that with a kid who what was his name?
Drew.
Drew.
Was it
Yeah, Drew. And he was in his 20s, football player. And what he didn't know, he didn't even know he had NF. And that's what we have. That's what we find out to a lot of people. And that's part of the reason for this is to bring awareness. And then all of a sudden, as a teenager, he was playing football. He was doing great. But then as a teenager, he started having symptoms, and he didn't make it till his 20s, like
Right.
mid-20s.
29 was it?
Yeah, and so his mom and family was one of the ones who started this, and she was there that day, and we've got to know her, and she raises a lot of money.
I forgot how much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, and they have a team called the Tumor-nators. Get it?
Mm.
And we have one.
Well, yeah, we have a team. Our team is called Keep It Brief. Okay? So,
I think we got a few $100s. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
we didn't raise as much this year, but we kind of stick a bunch. But we're going to go and talk about this year, and then next year we're going to try to get more people donating involved.
Oh,
so
and-
prepare, get ready for next year.
They're going to be at booth at Pride this year for the Keep It Undies run for Gay Pride. So we're going to try to get a lot of our beefy friends out there and attractive women to go to the booth to, because it's in October and the underrun is, of course, in February. So give me a few more months to prepare. And we have many friends that wanted to be there, but they're all out of the country traveling.
Yeah. So we're and just so we don't scare anybody, we ran like this, but there were other people who ran in the more qualified younger people ran in more undies kind of thing. We left that up to the more qualified. We ran like this, so we don't want to scare anybody off or anything. We're not running around trying to frighten people. Nobody wants to 60-year-old guys running with their underwear. But there was a lot of people running with their underwear who knew what they were doing. They were very qualified to be running around their underwear. Let me just say.
And a few men wore pasties. I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah, a lot of people had cute little costumes on and
a cape.
Yeah.
And tutus and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it's very colorful. They're so much fun.
Oh, and the other thing too is they asked Todd to be on the committee, so he's going to be on the board.
They want my input. They said.
That's great.
I was like, okay, I've never been on a committee before, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
He's going to
Where
be.
do you find that at?
I told him you could be in charge of the smart ass part of the committee.
I'm at that.
Ass is good.
No problem.
Someone has to do it. So there you go. Absolutely. There's always something. There's always something you can do. And I mean, an event that big, oh my goodness, that takes a lot.
All right. Well, maybe bigger next year. So we'll keep you guys posted as it comes. This year we kind of let it sneak up on us and kind of didn't get as ready as we wanted to. So next year we'll be.
I can hit all the gyms and get all these people to show up.
Right.
You know, get Tarryn's input on it.
Great idea.
And-
Great idea.
And he has another client we'll talk about later, and they can help us out too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Later.
That's great.
Oh yeah, that's another topic. Yeah.
But no, I think the gyms would be great. People, you know, and I was seeing large-sized people do this too.
Oh yeah.
Underwear.
All
Yeah.
shapes and sizes.
I mean,
man.
God love them. I mean, it's just all shapes and sizes, ages.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's just being free, you know, because a lot of NF people are, you know, they have tumors and they have things that make them
Uncomfortable.
Tell me about your friend who he's like a big facial tumor, doesn't
Oh,
he?
Reggie Bibbs, he's a big YouTube celebrity. He has half of his face is this, and this, you know, and he's friends with Kevin Neely from SNL. There's a picture of him. It's like his whole left side it's just swollen. God love it.
So the idea is like just to be uninhibited.
And everybody's different. Everybody's symptoms are different.
Right.
It's just, you know, I lost my dad at 39 and my brother at 20, and I'm 61. I'm still here. So.
You're still here.
And
Yeah.
I think diet has a lot to do with it too, and attitude and lifestyle. Like go to the gym and eat healthy food. Like on Fridays, we'll go have margaritas.
We will? Is it Friday? Is it Friday? Can we do that today?
But at home we try to eat healthy food, like organic food, veggies and stuff.
Right.
And diet has a lot to do with it. And attitude has a lot to do
I
with it.
know you're a big fan of like dietary stuff too, right? But I mean,
Right.
it's been because of what you've been through. Don't you feel like, you know, eating good and being healthy has kind of helped you through all the stuff?
I definitely believe so. Definitely. My diet has been very good for a long time. I will say though, I do have an addiction for sweets, which is not good. But for the most part, you know, I've been almost vegan for my entire adult life, which is good. I had to cut out meat when I was in my 20s because my body just couldn't deal with it.
Really?
Remember, my stomach. I remember exactly when I quit. I had had a steak at what was considered one of the best steakhouses in Dallas. I was living there. And I went home and I was up all night in just agony with this thing trying to be digested in my stomach. And finally, I just said, oh, you know what? This meat and my stomach just don't go together. So I basically cut that out, all kinds of beef and pork and everything that, but I still ate some chicken and fish. And as I've gotten older, I've actually gone much more toward the plant-based.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
you're pretty much vegan now, is what you
Yeah.
say, safe to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my husband, I used to cook 2 meals, one for him, he was a meat eater. So I would cook one for him and then I cook one for me. And all of a sudden one day he just stopped eating the meat and all of that I was making for him. And he said, look, I'm just going to start eating the way you do. And he actually is probably better than I am with sticking with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah. So we're really, there's not a lot. In fact, because of it, you have to go to the store a lot because you're always having to buy fresh things.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time running to the store and, but in our refrigerator, you don't see a lot because it's mostly produce.
Right.
And you got to keep going through it quickly. So, whereas everybody's got the freezer in the garage, you know, we've just got the one refrigerator and it's just pretty much stocked with all this stuff that has to be eaten.
But we don't have a freezer in our garage either. Actually, we don't have a garage, do we? That's probably why.
You know how everybody does though?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I know. We used to when I was a kid, and my parents would go out and buy like the side of beef, and we'd have steaks on the grill. But we don't eat beef. I don't remember that. We don't eat beef here or pork. When
Right.
sometimes when we go out, we're more probably like more. But I guess if you eat fish and chicken, I heard that's a pescatarian. Is that a term you've heard before?
What's that?
They call it. I thought I said pescatarian.
Yes,
Is
pescatarian.
that right?
Sure. And I do enjoy fish. I have it maybe twice a month,
Yeah.
and I do enjoy it. So yeah, I do some of that.
Love
Definitely.
me some sushi too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sushi.
Well, see, but I can't eat shellfish.
A lot of sushi's not. It's like salmon and tuna. And because he's not really big on unless it's really super fresh shellfish.
Right.
He's not really.
I can have shellfish on the coast, but I can't have it. You know,
we noticed that.
like
Yeah, there's more.
Exactly. So.
Well, and that is kind of what Todd said. That kind of helps that beef and not eating beef and pork and stuff helps with that. But by the way, just so you know, I understand your sugar thing. I'm totally on board with you. It's like I don't know if it's like sugar madness or whatever, but here's something that might help you because it's helped me a little bit. I read online where sugar can attach itself. It actually attacks the collagen in your skin, and it can speed the aging process faster than smoking.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I know, right?
Now
If that
you know.
doesn't help you, oh no! And so
no.
when I saw that and I read it and then I've researched it several places and it seems to be true, I'm like, okay. So I think of like, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to think of like sugar as smoking, like it's almost having this. I mean, it's not because people who smoke age, that ages you. Tobacco does everything, it's not. So with this but they said it's also not like it's not just if you have a little bit of sugar. It is more excessive sugar. It has to kind of build up, so it's more of like a sugar habit, kind of stuff like that. So I think what I say too is like chocolate. Chocolate is. Like,
I like dark. I'm doing dark chocolate.
See, that's what I'm trying to do too, and that's supposed to be better for you, right?
Oh, definitely.
Pretend it is. Let's just pretend it is, even if it's not.
Yeah.
But you can't eat
Definitely, because the more dark chocolate you have, the less sugar. So if you buy a dark chocolate bar that's say 70% dark chocolate,
Right.
that means there's only 30% sugar in the bar. And then if you're buying a dark chocolate bar that's 80%, that's only 20% sugar in the bar. I was just reading about this. Now you could get one with stevia, and
Right.
you don't have sugar at all. So that helps, I think.
It's stevia like the artificial sugar, right?
Well, no, it's actually not artificial.
Oh, that's right. It's not like saccharin.
No.
Saccharin was what they made in a lab, right? That everybody got crazy about.
No, stevia isn't made in a lab. Stevia
Right.
is actually a plant.
That's what I thought. Yeah, okay. That's
Yeah.
right. Makes sense. Okay.
So, but there are some made in labs, definitely. Yeah.
We do some, sometimes in our green tea, we put some raw agave.
Yeah,
in there.
agave.
Have you ever heard of that?
Agave's good,
The
definitely.
raw, and we use the raw agave, not the processed.
Yeah, even honey's good,
That's what they say.
also good. Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and maple syrup is excellent for you.
Oh, we have that on Sundays.
Sometimes we have pancakes.
It's excellent for you.
Right.
So that's.
Did you find this? Do you have like times a year where you have like your diet is seasonal? Do you have like certain, like I know during the holidays everybody kind of has probably more cheat days and stuff like that, or do you have any like seasonal dietary? Is your diet pretty steady? Do you?
It's pretty steady. It really is. Yeah, it really is. But if we go somewhere and somebody's got the spread out, we still don't do, a lot of it, but we love potatoes.
Yeah.
We squash. I love sweet potatoes. So there are things. And then depending on what the dessert is, I'm a dessert nut.
See?
If I can eat the dessert, I'm there.
All right, come on, bring it out, bring it on. What is your weakness? Like if I put it in front of you, what are the like? There's certain things I eat when I see them, I just go blank, and the next thing I know, I wake up a few minutes later with stuff all over my face and the dessert gone. Kind of blank out. Do you have a dessert like that? I'll do you have one like that?
It depends.
Todd's had big on sweets though. He's not his big thing. But do you have one? You want to confess? You just want to confess and feel better about it. Do you have one of those that could totally hypnotize you? And the next thing you know, you've eaten it and you didn't even realize it. Did you have one of those?
Oh my God. Last night I was at a book club party and she had out on the counter dark chocolate, thank God, covered almonds.
Oh.
And that's
That's
about
almonds and dark chocolate. That's not too bad things.
no, but when you eat 100, that's that's not good.
Yeah, that's the
plenty.
problem, right? It's not that because you just they get in your head, and they're like, come on, more.
No, so I had plenty. One of the problems was the first time I went to this book club. I was invited to come and start going. And it was a lovely, they do dinner and she had put out some hors d'oeuvres and really nice. So there were cashews and the chocolate covered almonds. And there were some things that were actually nutritious that were not dessert like. So it turned out she had a dinner that was beautiful, but it was lasagna and there was a sauce, cream sauce. And then it was chicken with cream sauce. And I can't do gluten and I can't do dairy.
Right.
So I couldn't do any of the dinner.
Oh, man.
So I've learned to not go to dinner events hungry. But I went back down to the hors d'oeuvres and I just made a little plate. There were olives and there were dried apricots.
So
there were cashews, and I just took a little plate and I filled up on those.
Do you know why we laughed at you? Do you know why we laughed at you said olives? I can't stand
I
olives.
love them.
I can't stand.
I don't. There were a couple of different kinds, and they were actually quite good. And quite honestly, I was hungry, and I can eat them. So that's what I did, and I was good with that.
God could have never created olives, and I feel like the world would be just fine. And don't you like olive oil? Olive oil doesn't taste like olives.
I eat a lot of olive oil.
Yeah.
I will confess, I love olive oil.
That's good.
And yes, and I eat a lot of it. I have it with my gluten-free bread.
Yeah, we try to do the gluten-free, like even our pancakes. So we have this whole pancake treat, but it's gluten-free pancakes. Gluten-free pancakes with maple syrup, because we try to have a healthy, and it's only just maybe on Sunday, and the Lord's Day, because we figure the Lord, he'll understand. But so, hey, I'm curious because I'm like you. I know you're a big reader, writer, stuff. I'm a big reader. What was the book club, if you don't mind me asking? Was it like a?
Oh, I've got it right here because, guys, I want to. This is a great topic for a little while.
What is it?
Have you seen this book? And I'm glad my mom died.
No.
By Jeanette McCurdy. This book is really something. She is an ex-child TV star.
Is this fiction or nonfiction, by the way, if you don't mind asking?
Oh, no, nonfiction.
Nonfiction, okay.
And this is about her life. And she's glad her mom died because her mother, she's very young. She's still in her 20s. Her mother was a nightmare. And her mother was, I can't even describe her, but she was so mentally ill and she brought this girl up in such an unbelievable way that she became anorexic and then she became bulimic, and her mother was basically living through her vicariously as she acted and became a singer. And she was on a show called iCarly.
Yeah, I remember the show. I know because I've got young nieces. I know what show, right? It was a teeny bopper kind of thing. Yeah, it's super popular show actually in its time.
Exactly. So she was on that for I think 15 years.
Yeah. Oh wow.
But her mother had screwed her up so badly. I mean, this mother was a nightmare. She was very mentally ill. And she lived vicariously through Jeanette, her daughter, because she always wanted to be an actress. So she she was grooming her daughter to be one, and she was just sick. And how she brought up Jeanette was just sick. And so it's just an unbelievable book. But the thing is, has just flown off the shelves.
You know, I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, I'm glad my mom died. Now, I had a hard time reading it. Now, I read it and I got through it really fast, but I thought this was just one of the most difficult books because the way her mother was so mentally ill and so horrible to her and her brothers.
Was she really like? What did she have? What was she like? What did she have? Like, was she diagnosed with bipolar disorder, or did?
No, not with anything. But she had her daughter next to her every move, and every day she dictated that her daughter was going to do this, and her daughter was going to act this, and she never let her out of her sight. And she put her daughter through hell.
When did her mother die? When did the death occur?
Her mother died. It wasn't that long ago. And Jeanette finally realized, and Jeanette never realized because she was brought up from the time she was a little girl. She was brought up with this sick madness of her mother. Yeah. She never realized that her mother wasn't like other mothers.
Right. Yeah, you don't really know. Yeah. Mm.
So when she died, she was still calling her mommy.
Oh God.
Oh wow. Was it like Mommy Dearest bad? Was she like? Did you ever see Mommy Dearest? The movie Mommy.
This is. I think. This
you know what I'm talking about?
The same category.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, Mommy Dearest? Because every gay man in the world has seen Mommy Dearest. Yeah. It's a gay iconic movie, by the way. It's a requirement. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, if you're going to be gay, certain things you have to do, and one of them is you have to sit through Mommy Dearest.
Oh.
I don't make it the rules. I know, but I mean it's that movie is kind of campy though in a way. It's got this sort of kind of campy. This sounds like there's nothing campy about this.
I don't. It's really weird. And one of the things, so many women when we get together for book club, we have a hard time getting over. Just an example. She was still. When she would put Jeanette in the shower, she was still in there washing her at 16.
Yeah,
that's disturbing.
I mean, still, and when she was younger, a teenager, she would put her and a brother in there and turn them around so they weren't looking at each other, and she'd wash them both. And that's she would wipe Jeanette when Jeanette was in a stall going to the bathroom when she was a teenager.
Yikes.
Yeah. It truly was. Really.
What did she die of, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, the mom?
Yeah.
Cancer, brain cancer. Yeah.
How old was she?
How old?
How was the mom when she died? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember.
But did you? I'm just curious. One thing. So, was this book like the book club? This was like the book for the book club for the night. This was the one y'all were going to get together and discuss, right?
Yeah. And the saddest part of it, I'm on low battery, guys. I didn't expect that, so I'm going to go ahead and put a cord on this.
Okay.
The saddest
batteries.
The hardest part was that Jeanette developed an extreme case of bulimia.
Yeah.
And that's always a disease that has its roots in a very, very dysfunctional family. And that's where it comes from. And you cannot get rid of it.
Oh no, yeah. No, once I've known some people who've been
so yeah. And it can kill you.
Oh yeah, it can kill you. It's what happened to Karen Carpenter, right? I mean,
well, they said with her it was anorexia, but you can have only one, but the two pretty much go hand in hand.
Yeah, they're very kind of people they intertwine, but neither one of them are very good for you, and all that. We can't really see you right now. I just want you to know.
I know. I'm trying.
Oh, there you are. Hey.
I'm trying to plug in my computer so I get more juice to keep it going.
We don't want
Sorry about that.
We're trying to run out of juice or anything. That's kind of terrible.
Yeah.
Does this book, does the lady, because so what I understand, like book clubs they did okay during the pandemic because people would still meet remotely and people had more time to read. And now I've heard that there's like this resurgence of them, because remember they were kind of trendy for a while, but they're kind of making a comeback, especially in the post-pandemic world. Is this kind of like that? Does this lady start this, and does she pick this book and y'all all get together and read it? And is she going to pick anything more cheery next time, maybe?
Oh, we can do that, certainly. We can do that. But, you know, they want to pick things that, can you guys see me now?
I can, yeah. Now we can see you. Yeah.
Oh, good. They want to pick books that are, I think, circulating at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe is what we can say, you know, that are, that are stirring interest. And this particular book was actually selling out at bookstores.
Really?
Yes. And I thought, I wonder if it's the title. You know, I'm glad my mom died.
No, that's a kitchen. We've actually thought about doing, I mean, just as a sidebar, we thought about doing a thing on Todd about I'm glad my leg was amputated, or the day my leg was amputated was the best day of my life.
My pain went.
Yeah, we thought about doing like a blog or a title, or in fact we are working on stuff like that. But I thought that would be an interest. And so that this book title sort of reinforces the fact that might not be a bad idea to do something really like the best day of my life was when my leg was amputated. You know,
May 15th, 75.
See, there was the date.
Absolutely.
So what is that? Do they have pick a next book? Do you have another book on there on the book club, or?
Not yet. We haven't decided on the next book. I'll be waiting on that for sure.
I have a friend who's an author. I could show you ideas later in his books. I'll message it to you on Facebook.
But yeah. I am a big, you're probably going to shocker here, but I like to read. But when I read, it's kind of like escape, and it's fun. And, you know, and I'm always reading something. You know, that's sort of a rule I've had for a long time. Always be reading. And so, right. But I like science fiction.
Oh, yeah.
Shocked? Are you shocked? Is it like a shocker there for you? I'm currently reading the Expanse series, but you've never even probably heard of that, have you?
No.
Yeah. No. It's a show on Amazon. It's like 9 books. It's this massive, epic sci-fi. Ask any geek, they'll know about it, man. And so I'm in book 6, you know, and I get totally immersed in this, you know, it's an alternate future reality, and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's really good. I mean, it's super good. It's got a lot of accolades or whatever in the science fiction community, but you don't really, it's not your genre, science fiction, is it?
No, it's not my genre. That doesn't mean it's no one else's in the club, for sure.
Right.
So I don't really know. I know my friends are always reading a lot of books about families and relationships and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe because these clubs are mostly women, maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe that might have something to do with it. They're very relationship. There's another book I've been reading about called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Everybody's talking about it online. I'm on the Goodreads website. I don't know if you're on there or not. Have you ever heard of the Goodreads.com website? You should check it out. No. If you're an avid reader, you should check it out. And we could be friends. It's a social media website for book lovers. All right. And they they vote on the books they think are the best of the year. This is probably on there. After we get off here, I'm going to go check it and see. I imagine it's on there. And then, you know, these are places where you can share the books you're reading with other people that are your friends with on there and all that. And the reviews are their reviews are done by people that actually read the books and stuff like that. So, and it's free, you know, but it's kind of like the social media website for bibliophiles.
Right.
Who loves books, right?
Right.
I don't really want to mess up that word, you know. I don't want to.
Yeah. I guess I need to read more fiction. And
I need to read more nonfiction.
Pardon me?
I need to read more nonfiction. So.
Yeah, and I need to read more fiction because you know me, I tend to get into politics and geopolitical things that are going on, and which nobody seems to be interested in but me.
Oh no, we're interested in it too.
Well, you are, but my friends aren't really, and they're always like, well, you can't believe what you read. and I'm getting to the point where I am hating that expression. I just don't believe that every reporter is lying. I do not believe that.
Yeah.
So, but and that's the response that I get.
Well, it's very
And
selective.
they cut me off and they just said, well, you can't believe what you read.
Well, it's very
And
selective.
I'm like, oh, brother.
It's become retail information. Like people pick information like they pick their favorite foods. I mean, it's like, I don't like this information, so I'm going to ignore it. It's become like the retailing of information, so.
Yeah.
And that's why people go, that's why certain news channels, because they're out there to make money, they're not there to surprise, so they don't
Right.
they're not trying to tell you the truth. They're trying to get you to watch,
Yes,
and so,
exactly.
so they'll tell you what you want to hear. But that's the real interesting, interesting thing I find about that is, how do people decide what they want to hear? That's the thing I try to find. Like, how come my family, who's super conservative, they've decided all they want to do is watch Fox News, and when they watch the other stations, they're lying, but they're telling the truth. Well, how did they come to that conclusion? It's like it's what they want to hear, And you can purposely, those people, you can purposely trick them sometimes. You can tell them something that they want to hear that's not true, and they'll believe you. I heard on the news the other day that Hillary Clinton she really is a pedophile, whatever. I'm saying that because it's so insane to say, whatever.
Yes.
People believe that crap.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that latest Fox News thing about how they all knew that Trump did not win the election, that Biden won it, but they all lied about it.
Their texts have been recovered, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because they knew what readers, their watchers wanted to hear.
Right.
And so I just thought that was so great.
Yeah.
And the voting machine company I'm sure is going to win that lawsuit.
Yeah, it's about the voting machine. That's the lawsuit they've sued, right? Because they sued back saying no, and they're like crushing it. They're really exposing a lot of this crap.
They're crushing it, as you said.
One of the things I'm enjoying politically, and this is making me happy to see, is it's very sad, this train derailment that happened in Ohio. You probably it's horrible. But the thing I'm really liking is especially Pete Buttigieg, who I confess that I do like, but he's like holding his ground. That when Donald Trump showed up there, Donald Trump bragged on Twitter how he slashed rail regulations, slashed them, and Pete's standing his ground saying he shouldn't be here. He's the one who called, a lot of this. I'm sort of glad they're calling him out on that. I said, let him get, because a lot of times I feel like they let them get away with it. Democrats try to, in the name of trying to commit unity, but Pete's standing his ground, and Biden is too, actually. But Pete's being a spokesman for it. So
yeah.